What's going on? What's going on? It's your man Chris B again. Had to go live real quick. Yeah, man, because I seen this video from Stephen A. Smith, and he was apologizing to Kyrie Irving. So it got me thinking, damn, is Stephen A. on a apology tour here lately? I mean, yeah, it seems like he's catching hell if he tries to stick his hand in the political field or in the sports world. It seems like now he's catching hell. But I do remember specifically at that particular time, they tried to make Kyrie Irving public enemy number one. They tried to make him look bad for not taking the jab. And as we come to find out, as of today, he probably was right. No disrespect to anybody that took the jab, of course, but they tried to demonize and dog this man for not taking the jab when it made him look like public enemy number one, and probably took money out of his pockets. And you add that with the quote unquote anti-Semitic thing that he had to go through. It was a situation to where it was a lot of unnecessary drama placed upon Kyrie Irving, in my opinion. But it seems to me like, Stephen A. on an apology tour, because once again, he's apologizing. But, it wasn't that he was criticizing Kyrie Irving. It was the way that he was criticizing Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying? It was like a venom or a viciousness or a personal thing that was attached to it, it seemed like. And come to find out, I guess it was because, through, I guess, mutual friends, he knows his dad or something like that. But it got me thinking, Kwame Brown must be laughing his ass off. Kwame Brown must be laughing his ass off. Sitting back watching all these apology tours that Stephen A. is on. But I just find it real weird that you get calls and you apologize. That's the thing that I'm seeing between the political situation that he was in and this situation. You get a call from somebody and then you come and apologize. That seems to be the theme that I seem to be picking up. And it led to me to believe that certain powers that be, they use us as black men to attack other black men. They really do that. Now, who knows why Stephen A. had the venom he had for Kyrie Irving that he hadn't had for others that he has criticized or talked about. But in this situation, and particularly at that time with the COVID thing going on and everybody was in panic mode, they tried to make Kyrie Irving look bad because he was one of the few that stood out there and said, nah, I don't want to put something in my body that I don't really know about. Y'all don't really know about, and they don't want to talk about right now how, some people are dropping dead that have took them jabs. But they keep that under wraps. They don't want y'all to know about that. But that's for another topic. We'll talk about that. I just find it funny that even how rich or powerful that you may think that you are, is somebody that's above you that can make you apologize even when you don't want to. But at the same time, they can sick you on another person to make them look bad. And I find that real weird in our society today that they do that. And they use our so-called celebrities or stars or idols to do these things. I think it's crazy that they do that, but that's what they do. But just those of y'all that don't have short-term memory loss, I guess like I do, I can remember things that happened 20 years ago, can't remember something that happened 2 seconds ago. But not that long ago. Y'all remember how they was coming at Kyrie Irving, especially Stephen A. Smith, for not taking that jab. And now my guess is it because of the Kyrie is back in the NBA Finals or almost on the verge of getting back to the NBA Finals without LeBron this time? We'll see. But I just found it real funny how they use black people to attack other black people. And I think we need to be aware of that. But I'll let y'all check out this thing of Stephen A. apologizing.
Before I go to break, because it involves Kenny Smith and Kyrie Irving. Kenny the Jet Smith for TNT, the great Kyrie Irving for the Dallas Mavericks, who may be on the verge of winning his second NBA championship, by the way, which is an incredible story within itself. But anyway, the topic that I'm about to get into is a bit personal. It involves Kenny, my brother, my boy. Kenny Smith and I go back decades. His brother, Vincent Smith, used to train me. Lost Battalion Hall, Queens, New York, all of that stuff. I got a scholarship, basketball scholarship, because of Vincent Smith. Love him to death. But Kenny Smith and I go back that long. Last night, the TNT crew was discussing the evolution of Kyrie Irving this postseason. Because Kyrie Irving obviously has gone through so much, being accused of anti-Semitism or anti-Semitic remarks just because he retweeted something and stuff like that, getting suspended, having to deal with some of the things he's had to deal with, the whole COVID thing, and not wanting to play, not wanting to take the vaccine, and all of this other stuff, ultimately missing an abundance of games. And obviously things going south in Brooklyn with him, Kevin Durant, and James Harden.
Now see how he tried to downplay it the way he was talking. He was trying to downplay it now the way he was talking, but it was a lot of venom when he was coming at with these issues, what he had against Kyrie Irving at that time. For those of y'all that remember, you know what I'm saying? On top of the anti-Semitism that they accused him of for a retweet. And to be perfectly honest, if you go look up, all I looked up one time, I looked up, why do Muslim people, or why are the Jews hated so much? And I ran across this video of I believe the president of Egypt back in the days. I don't even know if they have this video. It was on YouTube. I watched it, and they had asked him, why were the Jews hated so much that was in Israel? And it was crazy because the guy said because they left Jerusalem black and came back white. And the whole crowd started laughing. I was like, damn, that's crazy. But basically, you know what I'm saying, that's what many people believe. But let's continue.
You look at those situations, you just found yourself saying, damn, this is a bad situation. It's really bad. And Kyrie's name was written, all over it. And then he lost the sneaker deal, and, and all he had was basketball. But the evolution of Kyrie Irving this postseason has been nothing short of spectacular, and he deserves a lot of credit for it. But that was also what led to Kenny Smith revealing a very private conversation that he had with me about my past critical comments of Kyrie. And I shouldn't say past, because at the time we had the conversation, that's when it was going on, and that's when Kenny Smith called me. Here's what he had to say last night on TNT. We couldn't play the sound, but here's the quote. At one time, Stephen A. was an advocate about having a battle with Kyrie Irving. I had to call Stephen. I'm like, this guy's from my neighborhood. I named like 6 people, and I said, Stephen A., those people mentored you. They mentored him. So when you say something about him, you're actually saying it about us. And he said, I understood.
recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local...
Charles Barkley naturally followed up saying this about Kyrie Irving following Kenny's comments, quote, he self-inflicted himself. Talking about Kyrie. He got to take some responsibility. I think he's grown up. I think he's matured. Stephen A. and other people criticized him. He rightly deserved it. You can't go out there and be anti-Semitic. He deserved the criticism he got. He deserved the suspension he got. But as a basketball player, I think he's really grown up, end quote. Let me say this. Both of them are right.
Now, a lot of the thing that happened too, now when the world tried to crucify Kyrie Irving, black men in particular stood up for him. Whether they agreed with them or not, they wasn't going to sit there and see a black man get crucified in the public eye because he took a stance on how he didn't want to take that jab. You know, he went through the anti-Semitic classes that they wanted him to go to, and sitting with Jewish rabbis and stuff and learning about all that. He did all that, but you know, they tried to take it a step further, took money out this man's pocket. Now, I used to didn't agree with the team stuff that Kyrie Irving used to do. Like, he wanted to go take his little exodus from the teams in the middle of the season and stuff like that. And I have my issue with him was more on that, on hurting the team in that way, where, hey, we're in a long season, we need you, you know what I'm saying? He can't just bail out. I wish I could just do that as a professional athlete, but hey, it is what it is. But a lot of people were trying to come down on Kyrie Irving in the media, not in the real world, but in the media, they was really trying to come down on Kyrie Irving and really trying to name and shame anybody that didn't want to take that jab. Which I agree wholeheartedly. It should be your own personal decision. It should be not you mandated to take something or do something. You see people try to buck when they try to hint that the lockdowns might be coming back again and we might have to go back to masks. The temperature was about to boil over. People was hot about that thing. So I think they had to scratch that idea of trying to bring a lockdown back. People ain't going back locked down no more. That's just not happening in a free America. But let's continue.
Tackling Charles Barkley first. Kyrie did deserve to be criticized at the time that he was being criticized. And it's our job to tell a story. And that's what I did. When it was happening, I spoke about what was happening. So Charles Barkley's right about that. But nobody's more right than my brother, Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith did call me. And when Kenny Smith called me, he spoke to me and he reminded me of guys. He mentioned 6 guys. I'll give you 3 of their names. One was Rod Strickland, former NBA player, spectacular point guard out of DePaul University and stuff like that. Rod Strickland is the godfather of the Kyrie Irving. Another person was Gary Howard, Gary D. Howard to be exact, former deputy sports editor at the Philadelphia Inquirer, who was responsible for getting me there. When I was a high school reporter for the New York Daily News, he was the one responsible for getting me the college job at the Philadelphia Inquirer. He's also the former executive sports editor for the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. At the time that Gary Howard was the executive sports editor there were 4 and ultimately reduced to 2 executive sports editors in the country, despite there existing hundreds of newspapers. Only about 2 were black. Gary Howard was one of them. He's a Bronx native. He's very, very close to Dedrick Irving, Kyrie's father. They grew up together, knows him well. Gary Howard is also a friend and a mentor of mine. The other dude was Reggie Howard that Kenny Smith was alluding to. Reggie Howard is Gary's brother. Coaches a lot of youth in the Bronx, very respected, street dude, very connected, the whole bit. And all of them talked to me. And they weren't disagreeing with what I was saying, but they were addressing the fervor with which I talked about Kyrie. And I really didn't see. I felt like I had looked out for Kyrie Irving on many, many occasions until I couldn't. And then I felt that his attitude towards me had changed, and it felt.
No, homeboy, you had all the smoke for Kyrie. You had it was seen personal, and a lot of people could pick up on that. That's what it was, you know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of people picked up from Stephen A. on that didn't even know the situation or not personable with nothing. But from the outside looking in, we all could tell. It seemed like you had all the smoke for Kyrie with your criticism that you didn't have for others. And a lot of people accuse you of going to the league office anyway. They accuse Stephen A. of going a lot to a league office, so that means you messing with people's pockets. And I guess a lot of players don't like you for that. But when you're trying to dip into different worlds, it seems like that can catch up to you if you're a high-profile individual today in this world. I see, you know what I'm saying? If you're a high-profile individual, you got to walk on eggshells. You probably got to live in a bubble. I would hate that, man. You know what I'm saying? Give me the money. Damn the fame, damn all that. Just show me the money. Like Tom Cruise, show me the money. Because, you know, if you want the fame and notoriety, it's all kinds of things that I guess you open yourself up to. The where you got to apologize. You get a call, you got to apologize. You get a call, you got to apologize. You know, where you don't even have your own thought, it seems like, anymore. It just seems like the higher up the ladder of success that you go, the more that you are bonded to people that you wouldn't normally be bonded to. And you have to do things that you wouldn't normally do if you have self-integrity, which I believe is not all lost in today's society. Self-integrity, self-respect. I ain't saying it what it used to be, but you know, you still got to have some self-respect and self-integrity, I think. Well, let's go.
Like betrayal. I let that go, but then when his father, I felt, came at me the wrong way, I reacted like I react. I ain't backing up. And it wasn't until Kenny Smith placed that call to me that I had to look at myself differently, because he reminded me of those numerous people that raised Kyrie. They also influenced me. And when I talked about Kyrie in the fashion that I talked about him, it wasn't just a reflection on him, it was a reflection on them. And when I looked at it that way, it gave me cause to pause. And then I remembered having an argument on First Take on ESPN with Jay Williams. And Jay Williams wasn't even attacking what I said. He was attacking the energy and how I said it. And I thought about that. And I said, damn, you got a point. And then I ran into Kyrie. And we were at the Crypto.com arena, and Kyrie came up behind me, touched me on the back, and said, yo, bro, at this point, it ain't even about us. It's about you and my dad and the way y'all been going at each other. And y'all got me caught in the middle of it. And when he said that to me, it hit home. I picked up the phone, live from the Crypto.com arena, sitting baseline, and I texted his dad and asked his dad to meet with him. And his dad, being the class act that he is,
Supercharge your business with the all-new Shopify point of sale, the all-in-one.
agreed to meet with him.
But you have to ask yourself one question, though. You have to ask, how did it get to that point of where you was beefing with that man's dad? If you knew mutual people that mentored him coming up, the same people that mentored you, and you still had that kind of animosity towards this young man, I suspect and detect a tad bit jealousy on his part, being that if he's saying that the same people that mentored Kyrie Irving have mentored him. Just my opinion. Don't unalive me now. But could that be possibly it? Could you think? I think so. I think it could be a possibility. There's a tad bit of jealousy was going on. Even rich people can be jealous of other rich people. I hate to say it, but it's true. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all know it to be true.
For me, in New York City a few weeks later, we met, we talked. Both of us apologized to each other for how we construed how one was coming at the other, et cetera, and we've been cool ever since. And when Kenny Smith brought that story up yesterday, it reminded me of the role that I play, the responsibility that I have. And I'm not one that usually gives a shit what anybody thinks. I stand on what I stand on. I feel the way that I feel because I pride myself in being man enough to acknowledge when I'm wrong if I think I'm wrong, because I think it's rare. But I was wrong. And for Kenny Smith to tell me that, it hit home in a big way because we go back more than 30 years. And I can count on two fingers how many times he's thought I was wrong. And so his friendship, his brotherhood means a lot to me. But it also reminded me of the brotherhood of all of those that mentored and have been there for Kyrie. And it reminded me of somebody like my colleague at ESPN, Jay Williams. I love Jay, but we definitely don't see eye to eye on a few things. But damn it, when he's right, he's right. And he was right. I didn't think he was right at the time. But when you reflect sometimes and you see things for what they are, you got to man up and accept it. And that's what I wanted to do. And so I'm glad that Kenny Smith told that story. I'm glad that he said what he said because it was 1000% accurate in the exact context that he said he spoke to me. He absolutely, he said it 100% on point. I've been pissed a lot lately for having my words misconstrued, for people using it for clickbait, just to interpret me saying something that I didn't say because I know what the hell their agenda is. But Kenny Smith didn't do that. And I really appreciate it. And I think that it's made me better because of it. I'm not going to be perfect, but if I think I'm right, I'm not backing up. And if I'm wrong, I will back up and I'll confess to it publicly. And I think the
going into an
now you can think, you know, either that Stephen A is having a bad, rough go in the media right now, or you can think that he's a genius because he's staying relevant on everybody's talking about him, and his name is still in people's mouth, and he's relevant in 2024 in the here and right now, you know. But a part of me can't help to think that, damn, Stephen A, as powerful and much influence as you have, you still have to apologize to people. Now, people will say, oh yeah, he's being a man, he's being real. But I'm just trying to look at the different play, you know. You'd apologize to Kyrie, but you didn't want to apologize to Kwame or debate him or have him on your platform or go on his. Hey, you know, to each his own. But, you know, on a real note, these powers that be are real, y'all. They're really real. And if we let them keep festering in society, the people that we look up to or that we don't even know, I don't know why we do that anyway. I don't know why we idolize people that we don't even know just because we see them on TV regularly or they've been in movies or whatever. They think that they have that influence And in a lot of ways, it's true they have that influence over our lives. But even these people that we look up to answer to those who are not named. Even Stephen A. Smith. It's just wow. You know, like I said, he's either having a rough go or he's a genius for dipping his toe in different worlds, in that political world and in the sports world where he's been, and catching a little hell on both realms. Because athletes, especially black athletes, have been on Stephen A. for years. They figured, you know, he has all the smoke for black athletes that he don't for whites or others. And, you know, in particular, Kwame Brown, he goes right to he don't have no smoke for Dana White. And everybody seen him slap up his wife, which me personally, I think, you know, she did come at him. I think he didn't slap her. He didn't beat her down. He was, get up off me. Yeah. Leave me be. But, you know, that's what more of a lot of the criticism from black men towards Stephen A. Smith has come from. It seems like you got all the smoke, you got all the venom, you got all the issue when it comes to the black athlete that you don't have for others. And I believe that's been the main issue with Stephen A. Smith. But I had to go live real quick and just trip out with y'all again about Stephen A. because it's funny to me, you know, said, damn, you apologizing again, my guy. I guess sometimes we not as big as we think. And on that note, I'm out. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. You know, my people's on Facebook, jump on over to YouTube and subscribe. And if you're already on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, Chris Barber. And I'm out.